All right, it's time to get ready for our Unit 3 test. And so we'll start off with number 1. It says Harry owns a painting company. He charges a one-time fee. So that one-time fee doesn't repeat, so that's going to be our y-intercept. And for each hour he is painting, the customer pays $30. So since that's each hour, that's going to be our rate of change. That's the slope. Write an equation below to represent how much Harry will make. And so the rate of change, the slope, will be $30 per hour. The y-intercept is that one-time fee of $80. And so the slope-intercept equation, again, that's y equals mx plus b, is y equals 30x plus 80. Where x in this equation represents the number of hours that Harry works, and y represents the money that he gets. Number 2, Val loves dogs. She started walking dogs in her neighborhood to make some extra money. She charges her customers an initial fee. So again, that's a one-time fee. That's the B, the y-intercept, of $20, and then $15 for every time she walks their dog. That's the rate of change. Write an equation below to represent how much Val will make. So again, the rate of change is a slope that's $15 per walk, and the y-intercept is the $20. And so the equation is y equals 15x plus 20. On this one, the x is the number of times she walks the dogs. And y is the money. What is the equation of the line in slope-intercept form? So that's y equals mx plus b. That has a slope of -5/2, that's my m, and passes through the point 6, -20. Hint, point slope first, and then slope intercept. So point slope form is going to be y minus y1 equals m x minus x1. So this is going to be my x1 and my y1, and we have our m, we're just going to plug them into the equation. And so y minus -20 is equal to my slope of -5/2, and then x minus 6. So I'm going to do two things at once. First, this is a minus a negative, which turns into a plus, so y plus 20. And on the right side, we're going to distribute this because I want to get it into this form with the y by itself. And so the first step, we're going to distribute. And so -5/2x. And then a negative times a negative is going to be a positive, and then we've got to multiply 5/2 times 6. So you could put this in Desmos in the calculator, or you could do it by hand. By hand, it's going to be 5/2 times 6, which is 6/1. And when you multiply fractions, you multiply straight across. Multiplying 5 times 6, which is 30, and 2 times 1, which is 2, and 30 divided by 2 is 15. And then last step, we're going to subtract the 20 over. And so that gets y equals -5/2x. And then 15 minus 20 is -5. There we go. And if I wanted to check this to make sure that it's right, we could plug it in Desmos. And so I'm going to pause it, but in Desmos, I'm going to put this in my equation. And if we have it correct, this point should be on this graph. And so let's check it in Desmos. All right, so I put the equation in Desmos. And so -5/2 x minus 5. And here's the line. And then to check to see, I'm going to press this edit list and make a table from this equation. And the coordinate that we had was 6, -20. So right now my table only goes down to 2. I need to extend my table, so I'm going to press 3, and then press enter and go all the way down to 6. And there's 6, -20. That's the point that we had, and so it's correct. All right, now we'll go to the next one. On number 4, we're going to do the same exact process. We're going to find the equation of the line in slope-intercept form that has a rate of change, that's my slope, of -2/3, and passes through, shouldn't have a t right there, the point -325. And so again, we're going to do the exact same process. So we're going to start with the y minus y1 equals m x minus x1, where this is my x1 and my y1, and then there's my m over here. So it's going to be y minus 25 is equal to, my m is negative 2 over 3, x minus negative 3. And so again, minus a negative turns into a plus. And then we're going to distribute this negative 2/3. So y minus 25 is equal to negative 2/3 x. And then negative times a positive, that's going to be a negative. And then we can come out to the side 2/3 times 3. And so that 3 is the same thing as 3 over 1. So we'll multiply again straight across. We'll get 6 over 3. And 6 divided by 3 is 2. And then we'll add the 25 over. And get y equals negative 2 over 3x plus 23. Another way I could do this is I could plug in this coordinate and see if it's true. And so I would see 25 equals negative 2 over 3 times my x of negative 3 plus 23. And we're going to see, is this a true statement? So I could plug in this point and algebraically see if it's true. And so negative times a negative, that's a positive. And so negative 3 times negative 2 is positive 6 divided by 3 is 2. 2 plus 23 is 25. Check. And so it works. Number 5, the administration at the local high school decided to buy laptops for their science teachers. The computer company quoted the following prices for their laptops. So the number of laptops and the total cost. Which equation best describes the relationship between the total cost and the number of laptops? Hint, use Desmos to find the slope. So I could just plug this in Desmos, find the slope. I could also do it by hand. I'm going to show you by hand, and then we'll also look at Desmos. But to find the slope, you do y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. And so that's going to be, I'll just choose these 2 points right here because they're the smaller ones. So we're going to do 1050 minus 750 over 15 minus 10. And so 1050 minus 750, that's going to be a 0 at the end. 5 minus 5 is 0. And then 10 minus 7 is 300 divided by 5. And then that's going to be, 5 goes into 36 times at a 0 at the end. So it's going to be positive 60. So it can't be A because A has the negative 60. All of these have the 60, so all 3 of these are good as far as the slope goes. Now we're going to do, these are in point slope form, the y minus y1 equals m x minus x1. They could have used any one of these 3 points. And so we're just going to check them. The first one, it looks like they're using the 10 and 750, but the problem is it should be a minus. It should be L minus 10 and C minus 750. So because they have the plus signs, B is not correct. For C, they have C minus 1050. That looks pretty good. And then L minus 15. And so that one looks good. It's got the minus 1050 and the minus 15. Those 2 points go together. And so then for D, it has C minus 20. That's the X, not the Y. And so this one's out of order. Had this one been the other way around, that would be correct, but it's not correct. C is the correct answer. All right, and so now we'll go to Desmos and we'll show you how to find the slope in Desmos, just to make sure you remember how to do that. All right, so in Desmos, we're going to put in a table. We'll put this plus sign and push table. And then we'll put in, we need at least 2 of the points. And so I'll put in 10 and 750. And then we'll put in 15 and 1050. And we'll click these 2 dots. And then it shows us the equation of the line. And so y equals 60x plus 150. That's 60 right there. That's the slope. And so we could do it that way. Or if I wanted to, I could put an equation of what I did a little bit ago. So I could do the y2 1050 minus the y1 750 over the x2 15 minus the x1 10. And it also gives me the slope of 60. And so you'd use this for Desmos as well. All right, going on to number 6, it says, what is the y-intercept of the line that passes through these 2 points? It says hint, use Desmos. We could. But on this one, I need to first off find the slope. And so we're going to do the y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, where we need to label these points. This will be my x1, y1, and x2, y2. And so we're going to do -7 minus 35, and then 14 minus -7. And so -7 minus 35, that's going to be -42 over 14. This is +7, which is 21. And so that's going to be -2. So that's the slope. And I could check this in Desmos. And so I'll do that here in just a moment. And so then after I get my slope, I then need to pick one of these points. It doesn't matter which one. I'll choose this one right here. The numbers just overall seem a little bit smaller. They both have -7. This one has 14 instead of 35. I'll choose that one. And so I'm going to plug them into point slope form and then need to change it to slope intercept. And so we're going to do y minus -7 is equal to -2. That's my slope, x minus 14. And so that's plugging it into the formula. And then y minus -7, again, that's y plus 7 equals, we're going to distribute this -2. So -2x plus 28. And then we'll subtract the 7 over and get y equals -2x plus 21. It wanted the y-intercept. That's my y-intercept right there. 21 is my final answer. And so now we'll do it in Desmos. All right, so again in Desmos, to find the equation of the line that goes through 2 points, we're going to make a table. And then in the table, we'll put in the points that we had. So it's -7, 35, and then we'll go down. And for the next point, we'll put in 14, -7. And so I've got those 2 points. I'll click this little icon right here, and it gives me the equation of the line, -2x plus 21. That's what we had on the paper. 21 is the y-intercept. All right, let's go back to the review. All right, so we're going to do the exact same process on number 7, where we're first off going to find the slope. And so we're going to do m equals, and we're going to do -8 minus 5 over 24 minus -28. So minus negative, that turns into a plus. That's going to be -13 over, and then 24 and 28, that's going to be 52. And then we're going to simplify this fraction. I've already put it in Desmos to check my answer. But if I divide both of these by 13, it's -1 over 4. And so the slope's going to be -1/4. And then we'll plug it into that equation again. The y minus y1 equals m x minus x1. Again, we can use either point. This one could be either one. I'll just go ahead and use this one. So y minus -8 is equal to -1/4 x minus 24. And so minus a negative turns into a y plus 8 equals, we're going to distribute the -1/4. So -1/4 x plus, and then 24 times 1 is 24 divided by 4 is 6. And you can plug that in Desmos to check that as well. But multiplying by 1/4 is the same as dividing by 4. And so 24 divided by 4 is 6. And then we'll subtract 8. And we'll get y equals -1/4 x minus 2. And so minus 2 is going to be the y-intercept. That answers the question for number 7. Number 8, write the following linear function in point slope form for each of the points represented. And so hint, use Desmos to find slope. We'll do it without Desmos. Oh, these are some decimals. It's going to be easier with Desmos. And so I'm going to pause it and plug it in Desmos, and I'll show you what I got. All right, so here's what I put in my Desmos. I made a table, and again, I just need at least 2 points. So I put in the first 2 points, -1, -5.25, and 2, -4.5. And it gave me this equation, y equals 0.25x minus 5. If you're not sure what fraction is 0.25, you can come down to the next blank and write in 0.25 and click this little fraction bar, and it tells you what the fraction is. It is hard to do that if it's repeating decimals, and so you may need to know those, or you can check it if it's a multiple choice. But my slope is going to be 1/4. And so let's go back to our paper. All right, so our slope is positive 1/4. And so now we're going to plug it into each of these. And so we're doing the y minus y1 is equal to mx minus x1 again. And we're going to do it for all 4 of these points. And so all of them are going to start off with the y. And now we'll just plug in these y's. And so minus and negative turns into a positive. So this one's going to be plus 5.25. This is going to be plus 4.5. I'm just going to go down and do it in order. And then we got plus 4 and then plus 2.75. I'm just going to do all 4 at the same time. Next off is my slope, which is 1/4. So I'm going to put that in. And then we'll open up the parentheses and we'll put an x with each of them. And then we'll put in the x value. So x minus negative 1 will turn into plus 1, minus 2, minus 4, and minus 9. And that completes number 8. Number 9, choose the equation below that is not equivalent to y equals 4x minus 5. Hint, put each answer into y equals mx plus b. So currently none of them are in mx plus b. 3 of them are going to be equivalent, 1 of them is not. And so for our first one, so for letter A, y minus 3 equals 4x minus 2. Again, we'll start off by distributing that 4. So it's become 4x minus 8. And then we'll add the 3 over and get y equals 4x minus 5. That does check. So A is not going to be the answer. We'll do the same thing for B. Y plus 5 equals negative 4x. We'll subtract 5 over. These are not like terms, and so I won't combine them. It's just going to be negative 4x minus 5. That's not the same thing. And then we'll just check C and D just to double check those as well. So for letter C, y plus 3 is equal to 4x plus 2. And so y plus 3 equals, we'll distribute this 4 to get 4x plus 8. And then we'll subtract 3 to get y equals 4x plus 5, which also is not correct. So C. So I guess we're going to have more than one that's not equivalent. And then for D, let's see, I kind of ran out of space. I'll come up here and do D up here. And so negative 4x plus y equals negative 5. I'm going to add 4x over. Y equals, these aren't like terms, they're just going to drop down as they are, 4x minus 5. And that one does match. So it's not D. So on this one, it's both B and C because neither of them matched up exactly. All right, number 10. The table below shows the depth of water in a bathtub as it is being filled over time. The data can be modeled by a linear equation where x is the number of the elapsed time in minutes and y is the depth of the water in inches. Use Desmos to find the equation. So write the equation in slope-intercept form that represents the data. And so again, we could do it by hand or we can do it by calculator. I'll start off doing it by hand. So I'll use these 2 points right here. So 5 minus 3 over 2 minus 1, which gets me 2 over 1. And so my slope is 2. So next off, I'll use either one of these points. I'll just use the first one. And so we're going to do the y minus 3 is equal to 2x minus 1. And then we'll distribute the 2 and add the 3 over. So y equals 2x plus 1. And then letter B says, write a statement explaining what the rate of change of the linear equation that models the data indicates. And so the slope is 2, which means for every minute passed, the depth of water is rising 2 inches. So for every minute, the water rises 2 inches. So water is rising at 2 inches per minute. What was the level of the water when the bathtub began to be filled? Well, that's going to be the y-intercept, and so it's going to be 1 inch. Let's go to number 11. It says, which equation is represented by the table? Use Desmos to find the equation. Put each answer in y equals mx plus b form. So there could be more than one answer. We want to check it. But I know the y-intercept is 7. And so the b is 7 because when the x is 0, the y is 7. So I can see off the top it's not a, because a has a b of -7. It's not c. C has a b of -7. So it could be B or D. Next off, we'll find the slope. For the slope, I'll use these two down here. And so we'll do 8 minus 7 over 3 minus 0, which is going to be 1 over 3. So my slope is 1/3. Both of these have a slope of 1/3. And so then I can just check to make sure that they use the points correctly. And so for this one, it has an x of -6, which is good, but it has a y of -5, so it's not B. And then for this one, it has an x of -3, which that's good, and a y of +6, so it's going to be D right there. Number 12, which of the following equations are represented by the graph? And so on this one, I can see the y-intercept is down here at -8. So my b is -8. And then I need to find the slope. So to find the slope, I need 2 good points. So it looks like it goes through right here and right here and right here. I could use any one of these points. But from one point to another, I'll just do this one right here. It's going 1, 2, down 3, and right 1. So my m is going to be -3. It's a negative slope. It's falling to the right. And so my equation is going to be y equals -3x minus 8. And so this one, -3x minus 8, that's what we got. A is correct. B does not have a -3 for the slope, so it's not B. C has the -3x, but it doesn't have the -8, so it's not C. And then lastly for D, we could check that one. So for D, y minus 2 equals -3x minus 14. And so we'll distribute the -3. -3x plus 3 times 4 is 2, carry a 1, so 42. And then we'll add 2 over. Y equals -3x plus 44, not the y-intercept that we had. So A is the only answer. Number 13, use the graph to answer the following questions. So first off, wants to know what is the slope. So it gives me 2 of the points. So I'll figure out how far it goes down and over. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And so this is a negative slope. Make sure put in that negative because it's falling to the right. And it's 3 over 3, which is -1. So my slope is going to be -1. Write an equation slope-intercept form. I also need to have the b value. It intercepts at 10. So y equals -1x, or just -x, plus 10. So you could have also put -1x plus 10. Both of those are correct. All right, go on to the last page. On 15, convert the following equations into slope-intercept form and identify the slope and the y-intercept. And so right now it's in standard form. And so to make it into slope-intercept form, I need to get the y by itself. So the first step we're going to do is subtract 2x on both sides. And so -6y is going to drop down. Make sure keep the negative. These two are not like terms. They're going to drop down as they are. I like to put the x term first and the number at the back. And then lastly, I'm going to divide by -6 to all 3 pieces. Now I'll get rid of that. Y equals, a negative over a negative is a positive, and that's 1 over 3x, and then -2. So my slope is 1/3, and my y-intercept is -2. Same process on this one. We'll subtract 5x to the other side. 3y is equal to, again, drop them down as they are, -5x plus 9. And then we'll divide everything by 3. So y equals -5 over 3x plus 9 divided by 3 is 3. So my slope is negative 5 over 3, and my y-intercept is 3. Last question, which equation best represents the graph below? So for this one, there's multiple ways you could do this. First off, you could do the cover-up method that we did in class where you plug in 0 for y to find the x-intercept. So if I cover up the y, I get 2x equals 3, which means my x would be 3 over 2. And my y, if I plug in 0 for x, it's gone. Well, my y would be negative 3. So on this one, my y is not negative 3. It's not going to be a. I'll do the same thing for this one. If I cover up the y, if I plug in 0, that's going to be x equals 2 divided by 3. And so x, it could be 2 divided by 3. It's somewhere in between 0 and 1. My y, if I cover up the x, 2y equals 2. I divide by 2 and get y equals 1, which that does look pretty good. B looks good. For c, I would cover up. I would get x equals 1/5. I don't feel like that's 1/5, but let's check the y as well. The y, if I cover up the x, would be negative 1/2. And it's definitely not negative 1/2. So it looks like B is the right answer. But I'll also show you, like the hint says, put answer in y equals mx plus b. So I'll just do it for B because I know that's the right answer. And so we'll get the y by itself. We'll subtract 3x over 2y is equal to, like we did before, negative 3x plus 2. And then we'll divide by 2 to everything. So y equals negative 3 over 2x plus 1. So on this one, my m is negative 3/2 and my b is 1. So we can check that. It should start at 1 and have a slope going down 3, right 2, down 3, right 2. And so let's check it. It starts at 1, and let's see if it goes down 3, right 2. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. It does check. B is the right answer. And that completes our review. And so let me know if there's anything else I can do to help.